Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to draw with me today. I'm Mr. Kane, and today I think we'll be drawing a landscape. Now, your paper is, when you go this way, that's what we call landscape drawing. When we go up and down, it's called portrait. I sometimes just call this the long way. But it's because when you're drawing a landscape, you want to have it more room because it's the sky and the ground stretching out. When you're drawing a person or people, you want to go up and down because people are more up and down. Now, on my drawing, what you have to decide is if you want to take your paper and fold it, then it's more like having a card that you can send somebody. But it means that you figure out how much space you can fill in the amount of time you have to draw. So I'm going to work on this size, but if you need a smaller size, you just fold your paper in half. And we have to kind of figure out what we're going to draw, and I think for today we're going to start with sky, water, and we'll have some cattails and maybe some trees way off on the other side of the lake that we're drawing. So we first have to kind of think about where our sky is going to be, and I think maybe we'll do it as a sunset. So we're going to just find a spot in the middle here, and we're going to put in some yellow. Now, I'm looking at my paper and I'm thinking it's going to be kind of hard to fill it in, so I'm going to take my light blue pencil and I'm just going to make a border around the edge. That way when I'm drawing, if I start drawing off the edges, I'm not going to draw off the edge onto the table or the board. I'm going to just draw off into my little border area. And when I put my colors in, I want to leave a little bit of white space so that I can put colors between. So a little bit of space for the colors to breathe. But as I go, they're going to kind of fill up. So my next color in my sunset, which is going to go right over the top of the yellow, I'm not going to use up all my yellow, and it's going to kind of stretch all the way across, but get smaller as it goes across. So orange, and then I'm going to go into pink, and halfway into my orange, and then above my orange, and my pink's going to go further out. I think maybe my pink will go all the way out to the edge. And I want my pink to be a little bit reddish, so I'm going to add just a little bit of red in these little areas where I said where you could have it breathe a little bit. Just a little bit of red, because red is a very strong color and we don't want it to kind of eat up or take over all the other colors. Now between my blue sky and my rosy sunset, I'm going to put a little bit of purple all the way across, because that's kind of a soft color that will help me go from my pinkish color to my blue color. If you don't have a pink, you can just draw really lightly with your red to go across. Now see, I'm making a line all the way across, and when we get to where we're going to have clouds, what we do is we're just going to we're going to leave little white areas, and the clouds that are like down near the bottom, and see how I've left a little bit of light area. That's small clouds kind of floating off in the distance. And we can kind of, sometimes if we miss coloring a spot, then that's just a good place for a cloud to end up. We don't want to really think about patterns or where they're going to be. We just want to fill in with our colored pencils going straight across, and we're leaving little areas that we can breathe into. Now, if we have a sunset, then at the bottom of our clouds, we're going to have some of those colors coming up into the clouds as their bottoms. Like, see right here, I'm going to put I didn't put cloud in yet, but I thought that would be a good spot to put in a little bit of the shadow for the cloud that's going to end up above it. So a little bit of purple because clouds aren't all white. If clouds were all white, when you looked up into the sky, it would just be kind of a blur. But you want there's a bottom to a cloud and a top to a cloud, and if a cloud's going to have rain in it, it's going to be more darker and purpley. We don't use the color gray very much because if you look at it closely, things mostly aren't gray. We get grays by mixing different colors. Now see, as I'm coming this way on my picture, what I've done is I'm making bigger and bigger lines because it's higher in the sky and farther, and it actually feels a little bit closer to me. And I'll go back in there in the end, and I'm just going to, what I do is I go over everything one more time with my pencil just to kind of blend it in a little bit better. Now that's what I call my horizon line. My horizon line is kind of where the sky meets the earth. There's a nice word called prairie, and that means the heel of the sky. So when you're in the prairie, which is big, long areas of flat grass, that's called the heel of the sky. So in this, it's going to be a little bit of water, and I'm going to take my darker blue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some trees kind of in the other side of the lake, and you can either do pine trees, which would be kind of pokey lines straight up, or you can do kind of rounded trees, but they're very, very far away, and so they're very, very small. So even like right here, and when I go in way, way back here on the other side of the lake, the circle is round. A lake is round, so it's a circle. So on the edges, the trees are going to be bigger like this. And then they're going to kind of go farther away and get small because they're so far away and hard to see. Now I'm going to go, and I'm drawing right over my part of my sunset. But that's good because it'll kind of show through. And maybe I'll make another set of trees here. And you can go back into and use your purple and push down kind of hard, and that makes kind of a shadow color for the trees. Clouds have shadows, trees have shadows. Anything that has sunlight hitting it has shadows. And since we have a little bit of sunset there, maybe what we want to do is, right, kind of just a couple little spots of orange, which is a sunset color on one side of our trees, just to kind of make it kind of blend in together. Now this is our water, and that's where our cattails are going to live. Now our cattails, I think we're going to put those in. We're going to put those in with green, but first I'm going to put them in. The ones that are closest to me, I'm going to first put them in with blue. You see how I'm kind of going up and stopping instead of over here I'm going up and down. These I want to make them feel like they're kind of heavy a little bit and they're kind of falling over. Now they're sitting in the water right here. See, and I might actually put a couple little lines going this way in the water because we want to maybe show a little bit of waves. And over on this side, and see how I'm leaving this much space here over on this side just because I want it to feel like this is maybe a little closer. I'm going to go and see they get smaller as it gets deeper in the water because they grow from the bottom, and if they're growing from the bottom, they have to kind of where it's shallower, they will be taller. And I'll put a couple little lines here just to give me the feeling for waves. Now these are gonna be green, but I put them in blue so that I can add the green over the top, and if I made a mistake, I can just, if it doesn't look like it should be where one is, then I just don't color that in with green. I just leave it the blue color. So I'm going right over the top of the blue with my green, and maybe sometimes if there's a blank spot, I'll add a couple green ones where there's no blue in there. Now over here, when they're kind of far away, you can see that this is another little batch that's kind of sticking out, but I'm going to put that in with a little bit of orange, and then a little bit of blue, because I want them to feel kind of farther away. And maybe I'll put some over on this side too. And so our next step is, when up here in the sky we went up and down. When we get to the water, we want to go cross like this, and we're going to go soft, and we're going to do lines kind of slowly all the way across the paper. And as they get closer to us, we're going to leave more white between them. So I'll do like a band of blue with a little bit of white there, because I want it to feel like they're kind of being wavy out there. And because I did my cattails in the green and the blue, I can go right over the top of the cattails with my blue, and I'm pushing a little bit harder when I come down to the front. So that it gets darker. So small lines, bigger lines, always trying to go kind of straight across there. And now I have to think about things like over here, the trees, if they're next to the water, they're going to make the water on the edge darker, because that's a shadow. Kind of very light way back here, because it's a lot farther away. And then as it gets closer, so I've kind of done shadows that way, and now I'm doing kind of reflections in the water. And now when I do reflections, like this is my cattail, and I'll make a couple of these a little bit darker. And I don't want all the bottoms to be all along one line. I want some to come in closer and some to be a little bit further away. And see how when I get to these, right underneath them, I'm going to make kind of a mirror image. See how it kind of goes that way? This way I'm going to go make little tiny squiggly lines, kind of following the same shape, going kind of the opposite way. But that makes the water feel like it's a little bit shimmery. And that way I can make mistakes that way too. Now, I've got more over here than I have over here, so I want to make it kind of feel a little balanced. I'm going to go back over and put a couple more in here. And remember, on cattails, they have the leaves, and then up here they have, I don't have a brown color, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little orange, and then put green on top of my orange. So that gives me a brown color. So maybe I'll put 3 over on this side. And a cattail, it's kind of like, it looks like a hot dog. It's brown, and it's kind of really soft, and that's where the seeds for a cattail grow. And because I used orange to make the cattails instead of putting them in brown, then a little bit of that orange shows through. Now, cattails on this side are a little bit different size than the cattails on that side, because they're at a different distance. And they have, right at the top, they have a little teeny tiny part of the stem that keeps going through. So just make sure you draw a stem and going all the way down into the water, and you can actually figure out where that's going to be and put a little bit of that in the water too. Now my sunset colors. If I have sunset colors in the sky and in my clouds, I'm going to have sunset colors in my water. Not a whole lot, just kind of like sparkly coming towards me, and it's getting a little bit of pink, more pink. pink on the outer edges with the bright colors in the middle. And I might even put some pink down here right next to my cattails, because the water is going to be a little more still down there, so you're going to see a little bit more color. And I'm missing purple. Maybe less purple, because I don't want to make it too dark of a picture. But I have purple in the sky, so I'm going to put just a couple little spots of purple in my water. And I need a little orange. I think that's a pretty good picture. Yeah, the next thing you would do on this picture is you would go back in and you would think about where you would want to make areas darker. Like my sky up here is really scratchy because I did that very fast. And if you did it the first time a really good job, you wouldn't have to go back over it. But you might want to go back in and make it kind of blend a little better. Find all those spaces that we left for the colors to breathe, and maybe add a different color blue in there, or just darken it in a little bit. You could, we're not really drawing the shapes of the clouds, but we can kind of make them feel round by making colors around them kind of hold them. And sometimes you can make new clouds too that are just light blue clouds by just darkening the area around. I'm kind of happy with this picture. And the trick is to, when you're drawing, you can push down hard with your pencil, or you can push down soft with your pencil. So if you're doing it really soft, you can kind of go a little bit faster. But remember, we need colors to have room to breathe so that we can add other colors in there. But once we've done that, like right here, I can go back in and I can fill my side trees in. Kind of in the area where it's nice and dark. I think that's a good picture for today. Thank you for joining me. And our next picture, I hope you'll have as much fun with that as you had with this one. Goodbye from Mr. Kane.